Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 is about to start. My name is DKTruman for what is essentially the last day of regulation in the SA Division 2. And I'm once again joined by the Brazilian mastermind Bowie again.
Hello. Hope you are doing well. That was a pretty cool match that we just had. I really thought Dreamers was gonna take game one, but Coritiba, right? They've been delivering consistently. They lost that weird match to Gorilla Sprite, but overall they actually felt pretty convincing. I had my doubts about Mini actually just delivering playing carry, but he grew a lot. I think he's looking amazing recently. And they just feel like a team, and it makes sense because Coritiba, the core of Coritiba, has been playing together for a long time. Whereas Dreamers, it's not like they don't know each other or something like that, but it feels like their ideas are not meshed up. It feels like sometimes everyone is doing their own thing. Coritiba really feels like a unit, and in Division 2, I think that's like a big improvement and difference. Even though these teams have the same scores right now, it didn't felt like Dreamers was cut from the same cloth. At least with that draft from Dreamers in game one.
Yeah, there were some inconsistencies when to go, then the Slardar jumped in and
I
no
can
one really
build.
followed him, stuff like that. There was a bit of a slow communication, I guess, on their part. Hopefully, they got themselves a rest. They quickly did some push-ups or something to get it out of their mind, and they get themselves ready for game number 2 because the draft is on the way, and we're going to jump in right now to see the heroes that are picked up, and they do pick up that Snapfire that you'd rather see than the Dazzle.
I mean, you definitely know a lot about push-ups, right? You did a lot of those.
Yeah, 100 a day, 100 sit-ups, 10K sprint, I gotta...
Squats.
Yeah, to 100 squats as well. I gotta do everything, every day, never stopping, and that's how I get bald.
I see. Well, I do take finasteride. Finasteride? I guess that's how you say it. Or else I would be bald, dude. When I was 16, I was losing hair. Do
I
you
lost mine
understand?
when I was 17, and I just gave up.
Really?
I just gave up. It was
Yeah.
already over for me.
Is your your parents bald? Is your father bald?
Yes, my mom was bald. No, my dad, the one that's always vanished, does have about the.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like full bald. I actually have a lot of hair growing, except for the top front of my head. Like that is just
Okay.
very slim. So instead of having like a crow's nest in the front or a nice little bird nest shenanigan going on, I just decide it needs to go. I'll just cosplay as Johnny Sins or Saitama.
Something a lot of people don't know about is that your dad's mom actually matters more than your dad in terms of baldness, because it's actually in the X gene. So your mom is gonna influence that a lot.
My mom's dad?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was also bald.
yeah, because that's usually like a big part of that. Well, anyways, speaking of this draft, I'm actually a big fan of what Dreamers has right now. Way more standard. I think this Beastmaster hero, top tier. We talked about the lack of damage. That like they had burst, but they didn't have like any other forms of damage besides physical. I already love the Snapfire. I think this is already a much better start from Dreamers.
Beastmaster's always a very good tool so that you've got all the vision in the world. Very important, especially against the Treant, because we saw, of course, last game. Cern was very annoying to deal with. He came in. I still think that the overgrowth at the Roche pit was probably a game-winning play for his lineup, even though there was still like a lot to play. But that really was the moment where Dreamers they stopped moving. They lost the Aegis. They stopped making plays altogether on the entire map, and that really was detrimental to them in the end. So being able to hunt him in the trees, you also have the Snapfire with the Mortimer's Kisses. If you get the vision, you can glob them to death. I do think that the Kunkka, of course, obviously is a good counter to the Beastmaster in that regard, because he can just kill off the boars and whatnot. But right now we do also have 4 strength heroes in the server. And who is going for that Timber Saw is the big question for me.
Oh, that's true, actually. And they already picked the Beastmaster, so that's probably why Coritiba feels fine picking that Kanka if not ban the Timber and still feel comfortable.
Let's go mid to Timbersaw. Michi could probably play it.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably do really well versus the Kanka. I don't think you really care about that hero at all. Coritiba will probably go Phoenix if they pick Timber, I think.
And Phoenix 3 ain't always nasty. And then you already have won the team fight, like, by far. Though Phoenix is a little bit scary with the snap. You know, the enemy is having a couple of heroes still left open on the Dreamer side. And now you definitely don't want a Phoenix against the Snapfire Mirana, because that egg is never going to stand for more than 3 seconds. Also with the Beastmaster attack speed buff. Again, it is going to be a you know, Dark Demon Mirana. You did mention that you want at least more stuns with it. Snapfire is okay, I guess. Beastmaster, Roar is pretty okay, but during the laning stage, you don't have that easy connection. The slow is pretty okay to try and hit an arrow. Makes it a bit easier at the very least. But you're probably looking for a mid laner, maybe a I think Void Spirit, even though technically it's not the greatest against Kunkka, it's just, it is pretty good to set up the arrow stun, and it is one of the strongest mid laners in this current patch.
Yeah, it's a good hero. I'm surprised this Kanka was able to be picked like this and not punished at all. I guess there's like Monkey King. Oh no, Monkey King is banned from Dreamers. That's another reason why they can probably go for something like this.
You're up against Mini. I'd ban it every time as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's the reason Coritiba feels free to just pick Kanka first phase. You don't really. To me, it feels like Kanka is more often a response pick more than an actual hero that you pick by itself. But it's a good response for the Zoo that Beastmaster has. And there you see, Timber just gets picked up against 2 strength heroes. And they get this Lion. Alright, different hero here for Hanses this time.
Can rotate very nicely, especially considering Timber's probably going to be able to manhandle that lane solo easily. Unless, of course, we get to see some very nice shenanigans from Dreamers. I honestly would like to see them pick up a Bloodseeker on the Dreamer side. Very good against Timbersaw, and with the Shard you can even kill off the Kunkka. And there we have the Bloodseeker. It is one of the stronger heroes in this current patch as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value here in the silence. This time it feels like they already have a much better team fighting lineup. But the problem that I see, and to me it feels like that the downfall of Dreamers a lot of times, like they love this Mirana. And I understand the Dark Demon's great at it, but you already have like way less spammable stuns on the side of Dreamers. Bloodseeker doesn't have a stun. Beastmaster only has a stun level 6 every 90 seconds or something. So hoping that this Snapfire plays really well, allowing this Mirana to get a couple of kills, and that the mid hero has a reliable stun. I know you like that Voice Spirit. I think it's a little bit too unreliable for this Mirana to look as good as it did in game 1.
It is, however, I get that. It's still pretty good to kill. It can kill off a Timbersaw solo if he gets like the Witchblade at a decent timing. But you know, I give you you're correct here. They just need to pick up that OD mid. Just that simple. Get OD mid, shut it down. Game's won.
Dude, OD is actually really freaking good. It's just not gonna be picked, but
I know
I
one
would
picks
be
it, but it's so good
down.
here. It is really such a good game for OD.
It's great. Like, you don't care about Kunkka, you can save people, you can set up onto people. It would be actually a really good OD game. Unfortunately, that is not a hero. We don't say that the name around here. What is the standard pick they're gonna go for? It's probably going to be a... you want something that lanes or Kunkka has magic damage.
I think it's gonna be a Quap. Quap is
no Quap.
Why not?
We need a stun.
Yeah, but they're not gonna pick up a stun because they
Bat Rider. That's what we need. We need a Bat Rider.
Yeah, they need spammable stuns. Yes, let's give him a lasso that has a 100-second cooldown.
No. I mean, it owns Kunkka in the lane though.
Yeah,
really,
but so does OD with the spammable stun. They won't pick it, but a man can hope. Lifestealer is, BKB innately is pretty nice, though. Bloodseeker still feels really good against Lifestealer. Like, Bloodseeker's just a faster Lifestealer these days with the Shard.
5 seconds.
Yeah, but I think the point of the Lifestealer is that like you build a lot of armor items, so you can actually like you actually deal with the Beastmaster really well. You just go armlet phase boots, you don't die to him. You can infest like whoever. If you get Rupture, you just infest a creep or someone, and you don't really care about Rupture.
Yeah, okay. The thing
you
is,
can also...
Shard does like not care about armor because it's pure damage. So that's yeah.
Yes.
You
No, I get it. A lot of people don't like this Lifestealer hero. I think he's a good response to Bloodseeker, honestly. I understand that you're gonna say, oh, Bloodseeker is a better Lifestealer. And in the right-clicking department, maybe he is. But Lifestealer does have other like good aspects of it, and they go for this Puckerino. I mean, I get it. You know, it's a good hero.
Works well with the Bloodseeker as well.
I just hate the Mirana in this case. I just feel like they're forcing this Mirana every draft, and comfort is not everything. I really feel it for DKTruman. I think this might be a game he struggles. If he doesn't struggle, if they stomp their lanes, I think they can actually close this game out much easier than they did in game 1. So if they stomp Coritiba again, this might be a game that they actually win. If they don't, I feel like Coritiba is just going to take this in 30 minutes.
Okay, so that is your prediction. I'm gonna go Dreamers again. You know, I just gotta go with the better the better Lifestealer. In this case, I think also, you know, you got pretty nice combos. Dream Coil into Bloodright is pretty nice to deal with. You also have got the Rupture against the Timbersaw. I think the Timbersaw is really the problem here for Dreamers otherwise. But they have this game they have tools against the Timbersaw. Last game it was like X mark. That was it. That was literally the only way that they could keep the Timbersaw busy. Now they've got, you know, Leaps, Cookie, the Puck, the Bloodseeker, and the Beastmaster Vision, and I especially think that the last one, the Beastmaster Vision, is going to be the most important for the Dreamer side, so that they don't have those situations where they walk up the high ground against a tree and don't know what's there and just walk into a massive trap. So that they do have at least that going for them. It's another what looks like to be a fast kind of draft, but I do agree with you. I think that you probably needed some more control with the Dark Demon Mirana to be able to hit those arrows. There's a bit, but it's all... You don't want a roar arrow, because it's like too... Well, the roar is the big cooldown, and you most of the time want to use it on like the Lifestealer once he rages. And then you can't hit him with the arrow, because he's enraged. So you're in that kind of a pickle.
I think like if you compare this game to what we had in game 1, it is a harder game for Mini. I feel like that was like a free Juggernaut game, and in this game they can definitely kill the Lifestealer, as you talked about, you know, the roar. Like if he doesn't get the rage out for the roar, then you have the silence of the Puck, and then Mini is probably dead anyways. This is a game where he probably doesn't go for such a greedy build, because he went like Maelstrom, Shard, Manta, Mjolnir that game. I think in this game he might be forced into a BKB at some point. He might have to go Sanj. So it's not going to be like all dandy free farming for Mini, which could allow this Bloodseeker to scale later on. But, you know, considering the moves we saw in game 1, it definitely felt like Coritiba has like a slightly better understanding of the game. So I have to be convinced here. Dreamers, they need to just prove that they, you know, they can make these, you know, better moves, better trades. And if they can, I think they have this early timing, but the late game is probably theirs, right? We talked about this Puck level 25. You probably, like, it gets hard for the Lifestealer to deal with the coil. Beastmaster is just, you win one fight, you win the game because of the aura. So there's definitely some potential later on to this game for them as well. I just feel like getting there might be the problem, because it felt like as much as the game dragged in game 1, Coritiba was just slowly outplaying them every single time.
And that is, you know, Coritiba, you mentioned it previously.
No jump on this Mirana. Is she dead?
Nah, should be just fine. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, ready to try and hit an arrow, but it's going to just walk to the lane, and it is going to be 3 bounties for Coritiba, which they, I think, they had last game as well. Started off with 3 bounties. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was the case, at the very least. Nonetheless, yeah, I really do like the vision gain of the Beastmaster. He's also going for the Wild Axes build, so he'll be able to reliably cut the trees. Speak of which, he's trying to get the trees cut against the tree. It's not the best anymore. It's actually kind of weird. I did talk about it briefly on a different cast, that you've got like the Beastmaster, the axe cutting of Beastmaster has been significantly reduced. The tree cutting on like Jakiro as well with his Macropie doesn't cut the trees down anymore. So many heroes got nerfed in that regard. And then you get Dawnbreaker that just literally chops up all the trees, and Marcy that chops up all the trees. All the new heroes just destroy trees.
Yeah, and they also nerfed the cooldown of trees, right? Because it used to be 5 minutes, it's 3 now. So it's definitely, it feels, even if you can cut trees, it feels a little bit less impactful just because they respawn much faster. But still, Lysak's even leaving the lane of the Quelling Blade there, alongside those Wild Axes to try and counter the Saren Treant. And now you just play on the left side, and the tree will feel pretty useless. So that's a good start for Dreamers.
It's not too shabby of an early portion of the game. Guts in mid versus Miji. This time the roles are reversed though. That's actually kind of interesting because last game Miji destroyed Guts with the Kunkka mid. And now let's see if Guts can get the same done against Miji. It's starting off to look that way. That Kunkka is looking pretty good here in terms of last hitting and just damaging the puck all the way back.
He doesn't have his bottle on the Kunkka right now, so has to backpack a couple of the items here, whereas Miji does refill his bottle. Gonna be looking way healthier.
And not too shabby. Kunkka against Hiko. Hiko actually did go for the Whirling Death level 1 this time around. Instead of going for the max Timber Chain, to be fair, you're playing against Bloodseeker. Timber Chain could kill you if he gets the Rupture. So I guess the early damage is a pretty nice addition. And underneath the tower, Kunkka is trying to get some healing going, but Hiko is denying all these creepers and making sure that Kunkka cannot regain his HP.
Looking really healthy right now. Hiko, you know, he had a terrible lane game 1, but that's something we didn't talk about. This lane feels way easier for him. He's getting a lot of CS. He is denying a lot of creeps. Actually has 4 denies onto this Bloodseeker. But Kunkka also farming a fair amount.
Yeah, Kunkka is not doing too shabby. What's Dark Demon doing in the bottom? I guess, you know, Lysex, he's just going to get himself the Helm of the Dominator. There is a very slim amount of kill threat, especially once the Beast... Yeah, he does have the Helm of Iron Will, so it's going to be pretty hard to kill off the Beastmaster in that lane. Unless you get a super good slow connection from Serum, which they're trying to do, but Lysex should just be able to outrun this. Arrow lands on the Lifestealer, and he's just... It's hard to get a kill there, so top lane is where it's at, and indeed, Hiko does manage to get that first blood secured.
Oh, another thing we actually didn't talk about, this Lifestealer. Like, to me, a big counter to Bloodseeker in lane is having heroes that have sustain. And because this Lifestealer is always going to be like overall full HP, because this Timbersaw is always full HP, Kunkka will struggle to really use Thirst as effectively. Like, you know, there's some games or pubs where it feels like you have 500 move speed the entire laning stage. This is not the case here. Guts is really the only hero that even fell down 50% HP. So Kunkka right now struggling to, even though he's getting like decent CS, kind of struggling to do anything besides farming.
The damage coming out from Hiko is pretty immense. He actually doesn't even have a point in Timber Chain this time. He's going for the full Whirling Death. So a complete 180 compared to last game. And it is really making hell on earth happen for Kunkka, who is just waiting for him to get that Rupture so he can rupture the Timbersaw and hope for a possible puck rotation, I guess. I think that's especially going to be the crucial point, because Miji's also not having a good mid lane.
Love the build here from Mini. He gets the boots and the Arb of Women just so he can annoy Lysex, but now he's going straight up Helm of Iron Will. The armor gets more and more valuable as this Beastmaster gets to level 6. And the sustain as well. Just make sure, like, he's going to be this immovable wall. He's going to defend this tower the whole game. But top lane, that strength hero dies once again to Hiko. He even has Zorb of Venom on Timber. Like, you don't see that item every day, but it just allows him to get on top of the Snapfire and kill her.
It's a very slow hero, the Timbersaw.
It is.
It's incredibly slow, especially if you don't have Timber Chain.
The attack speed is also pretty slow. So, you know, applying that slow is not that trivial. But he's starting to really dominate this lane here.
And Gus has got the mid lane pretty much won. Bottom lane is also like they're winning all 3 lanes. Bottom lane is kind of getting closer to even though, and the Beastmaster is a hero that most of the time just gets countered in the lane, I would say. But he, you know, his toolkit is so advantageous that once you get level 6, it always becomes very scared to continue. Chan's gonna get chased, and Guts will be able to get himself another kill for the Radiant side.
Snap fire, Chan. Don't die.
Oni-chan. No.
Well, either way. So, are we gonna see Coritiba crush the lanes and then throw the game, just like we saw in game 1 from Dreamers? I don't know. I feel like this is like a draft where it's really hard for.
Oh, he's dead. Oh no, no ghost ship at least. So he should be fine. Well, Hans is coming in. He does have a stun and a hex. Kuka's running the opposite direction. And Chan, help me. Chan, cookie me. Yay, but there's Hiko. He's got his level 6. He's got the chakra. That damage is immense. Luckily enough, no timber chain. Otherwise, Kuka would probably be dead there.
I mean, but still, this is so demoralizing. That's a level 4 Bloodseeker against Mini's level 6 Lifestealer, you know? Ooh.
In this case, you might think maybe we should have just swapped lanes and sacrificed Sex's lane. Give the Bloodseeker a bit of a chance. Because he just got absolutely annihilated out of the lane. There's just nothing he can do. Chan is trying to bully Guts back. I find that a very scary prospect at the very least.
Yeah, they rely on Miji now to really provide some rotations, create some distractions, because the gold advantage is already 3k right now, and when I look at Coritiba, I feel like they are the type of team that is going to be much less prone to giving away advantages. As I say that, they lose the Hunter's
Ghost
Light.
ship missed by Guts, so they will actually get the Snapfire out at the very least. Also, Beastmaster did not level Roar, so he doesn't want to join anything for the foreseeable future. He's just going to focus on trying to get the farm as much as possible. Which
There's no way he kills this Helm of Iron Will Lifestealer right now.
No, not the Lifestealer, but, you know, maybe... I mean, the problem is you're up against 3 very tanky cores. Maybe their support, you know, kills a kill. Or get the TP counter kill, because right now he can't TP and help whatsoever in any of the lanes. If he TPs, he'd be like, aha, attack him, Hawk.
Yeah, for sure. He's getting levels though, at least this Bloodseeker being level 5. It's... Oh man, this is gonna be a huge uphill fight. Like, Kukahook got a free lane game 1. And maybe playing from behind, we'll see him actually joining a little bit more fights, because it definitely felt like his net worth wasn't really being used this time. I don't think he's gonna have you know, all of that free time to just do whatever he wants. He's gonna be forced into helping his team a little bit.
Well, to be fair, you're playing a Bloodseeker. You should not be, you know, playing free time farm frenzy on that hero. Even though, you know, you arguably want to, Maelstrom, BKB, Bash, your Shard is like the standardized build on the hero, but you're going to need to use that Rupture to get some kills on the map. Otherwise, eventually, the moment you've got your Maelstrom plus BKB, you're up against a Lifestealer that has his armlet Deso AC, and he's just going to 3-shot you.
Good move here by Dreamers. I'm very happy that they forced this fight. This tower, despite not really having a good game. Nice stun there. Even with Pico here, yeah, Lissex gets the tower.
In comes Guts. Looking for Lissex as the bigger target. Lissex doesn't actually have mana for the roar. Now he does, but he's still going to get hit by the ghost ship. And he walks, he's getting pushed next to the trees, where of course Hiko is going to be able to smack him low. Miji rotating through. They're looking to get the Rupture in onto Hiko. The Timber Saw is just going to stand still. They can't really force him out of position. And yeah, that's also a way to deal with Rupture. Just don't move.
Oof.
And even the hide 5 right there. Bit of extra BM. The whip damage. Yeah, I guess Coritiba will just win this game in like 10 minutes.
I mean, it kind of feels like it, really. This Bloodseeker has 0 impact right now. He's so far behind in terms of net worth. Mini already has his armlet, already forcing mid. Like, they actually defend. I mean, they didn't really defend bottom, but they got a kill out of it. And they're taking the mid tower at the same time. Until there's like a Witchblade on this puck, it feels like they actually have no damage whatsoever to do stuff. And I mean, we talked about this. This Mirana felt dead for the last 11 minutes of the game. If you actually hover over, like their Demon 0-0 and 2, and it just gets worse from there, right? I feel like Mirana, if she's not hitting arrows this game, she's not doing anything. Like, will he ever get a vessel charge? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's a rough one to try and crawl yourself back in. The problem is also, you don't have, in that case with Timbersaw, Snapfire is level 6, you rupture, you get Mortimer's Kiss, and he has to make a choice. Either he dies from the rupture or he dies from the Mortimer's Kisses. Now he's just literally standing AFK and does not care whatsoever. They will be sending the Tome of Knowledge at the very least to Chan, but that is just a severe lack of experience on the dire side currently, that they're just... Kunkka's level 10, Mini's almost level 10 as well. Hiko's almost level 10. Michi is getting close, but Lysic's level 8, Kunkka's level 7. It's painful.
It's very painful. They do find a Mirana here, probably dead.
And
they're diving this Beastmaster in tier 2s.
Chan, oh, he does have the mana for kisses, but now that Jim Chain is picked up, there's nothing really to fear. 5k net worth advantage. Oh, Coritiba are making it look very easy. And again, you know, we talked about it during the draft. We saw 2 strength heroes on both sides, and the first hero that came to mind for us was, what about Timbersaw? You know, we saw him in game 1. Did not have the most successful lane, but afterwards looked really strong. And they just pick it up again, and there's no harm, no foul. If you're going to pick up some strength heroes, at least ban the hero.
Yeah, and like, if, you know, Saitama and whatever else Bowie can actually figure out that Timbersaw is a good pick, you know, it just makes you wonder what are the Dreamers actually thinking? Like, did they feel like they could counter it? Because then they just misread how top lane would actually end up going. Like, you know, first blood for that Timbersaw, Orb of Venom just chasing down Chan. They finally go for smoke, and this is gonna be key. Like, they really need to make this work. Right now, they have no vision. This is a blind smoke. So, are they, like, waiting for someone to defend this tower? I guess that's the play.
Maybe if Guts walks out, but Guts is getting his Orchid delivered momentarily, and that is pretty big against the Puck, because Puck doesn't even have the Witchblade yet done. It's 50 gold off the mark. They are going to rupture Hiko. Kisses coming in. Dream Coil used.
Oh my God.
Sidestep the arrow. Takes a lot of damage. Eventually should falter. And they do manage to get the kill onto Hiko. But it cost them Mirana ulti, Dream Coil, Mortimer's Kisses, and Rupture. The only thing that they did not use was the Roar.
Yeah, that is pretty much all of my tuition into 1 kill right there. Doesn't seem very worth it right now, but they just needed to find something. At least they do get the Timber. He's pretty farmed right now. What else? They do have Witchblade, so maybe I think they can go for another smoke. They can kill like a lesser priority target with Cookie into Witchblade Silence. Maybe I want the sports. They're gonna lose the Beastmaster.
Yep, Orchid, Ghost Ship.
Good arrow.
The Sex, staying alive for a little bit longer. Finger, however, is going to deny any disengage coming through, and will find the quick kill onto Lissex. I guess the biggest plus is that high ground push is not really that good. Nico needs to buy the shard. Lifesteal is like okay once he gets his Deso, but he went for the Sanj anyway. To be fair, this Lifesteal, I don't think he's seen anyone in like the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, he has his Sanj flying out right now. And then, you know, the Rupture feels less impactful. The Coil feels not as impactful. Mini, once again, you know, just playing a very solid lane. Rotates when he's needed. They gave him overall last pick. It was actually 23rd pick again. So I really feel like draft-wise, Dreamers, they're not really using last pick really well, because that's the second game they have last pick. You know, the slaughter made sense, but it didn't make sense with the rest of the draft. This time they last picked the puck, right? I also, you know, it's a good pick, but I don't feel like it really won any lanes or made like the draft look much better than what they had prior to that.
I'd rather have seen like a Void Spirit. I just think Void Spirit is really strong right now, but it would also have been a hero that like one-shots the line or the Treant. Buck can't even get close to killing them solo.
Yeah, if he gets close, he just dies, honestly. He does have the silence, so that's a way to like prevent this Treant. But like we were talking about damage, and this Treant already has a Veil. So the damage Timbersaw is doing right now, even though he only has defensive items, is humongous. Speaking of that, he just kills Dark Demon here. Oof. Oh, they might find a Starim.
Oh, Treant, he's gonna get ruptured, going for the TP. Kisses come in.
Oh!
Infest, and Mini actually, Infest jumps out to continue chasing for blood. Chan in trouble. Shotgun won't be able to do anything because he was still in rage. And
Fire Chan.
yeah, he's just gonna. I mean, easy pickings for Mini. And they also wasted 2 ultis for that kill. Bloodseeker still going for his BKB, but once he gets BKB, it's nice. But again, it doesn't really keep you alive that well.
It really, this is such a hard climb for them. Like, they need to kill this Timber again. I feel like they just have to keep smoking on the side of Dreamers. They need to at least buy time for this Bloodseeker to get his BKB, as you pointed out, and time for this Beastmaster to finish his Helm of the Overlord. Because, like, with that, they might just be able to force Roche. Chan, he didn't really go for the Lil Shredder build, but I think if the Beastmaster is fat enough and they get like 1 or 2 kills, they could brute force Roche possibly. I feel like if they don't start forcing things, they're just gonna get totally eaten alive by Coritiba. This Lifestealer doesn't look this strong right now, but he is very strong.
Yeah, he's a beast. He has the shard now as well, so that is very solid for his entire team to get that extra lifesteal going on. Nice 50% movement speed slow. So if you get it on the Bloodseeker, it's pretty neat. Though, of course, once he gets his BKB, he can just BKB it off. Afterwards, he wants to go Manta on the Bloodseeker.
Have you ever seen Timbersaw using spells on an open wounded target?
No?
It's 50% lifesteal on everything.
Yeah.
It's not right clicks. So Timbersaw, he's gonna lifesteal like a freaking killing machine. Like, he has a Sunge on top of it, so he even gets the lifesteal amp out of that. Dude, I don't think... I would actually be very impressed if he could manage this to die now. Usually you don't see the shard as early on a lifestealer, but I think it was a good purchase by Mini. I feel like this is going to allow his chorus to not really die this entire game.
I find the Bloodstone, the new version of, well, quote-unquote new, it's been out for a very long time. I think it's actually underused on a lot of heroes. The amount of healing that you can do and mana regen that you can gain is quite astonishing sometimes. You're like, unless you pop it, boom, full HP, full mana when you just have Pulse Nova on. Storm, he zips in, like right at the end, he has 0 mana, is done with the zip, back to full mana, just instantaneously. It is insane how much regen you gain from it.
It's really good on Lash and Storm. I definitely agree. I played a couple of games recently with the Bloodstone, and I was impressed as well on how, especially if you have Sange, like the spell life still goes through the roof. But I mean, I just look at Dreamers right now, and I am just scared. I feel like both supports they don't really have a place in the map. They don't accomplish a lot. But we do have Blink on Puck, so this could be a way for them to start killing the Lion. I feel like Lion and Tree are the easy targets they can go for. Problem is, there's a blink on Hanses, so you need prior vision before you find that guy, or else you're the one that might just get picked off.
Bottom lane, Serum is going to be the target again. Does get the overgrowth off, but with the massive TPs, Dark Demon needs to disengage. And Dark Demon in the trees is still just fine. They don't have invis detection. Now they do place the ward, and he quickly gets the kill. TP's out. And they also found the line, so they're finding kills here. Net worth is actually dwindling the advantage on Coritiba. Also, you know, you said about Dark Demon not having he wouldn't get any charges with the Spirit Vessel. He actually was walking around. That was when they had 2 kills in total. I just saw him walking around with 3 vessel charges when they had 4 kills. So he literally, from the last 4 kills, he's gotten a vessel charge from every, well, not everyone, but in general, he's gotten a lot of Spirit Vessel charges in the last couple of minutes. So he's still finding his targets, his marks.
Yeah, no, that was a really good move by Dreamers. They actually engaged bottom. They split up Coritiba finally, which not only allowed them to kill the tree, but also allowed them to kill the lion top, because there was vision in. They have that ward close to the outpost. That one's pretty hard to get dewarded, and it gave them vision of Hunts' TPing. They get the coil. So overall, decent moves. They bought time for this BKB on Cookhook, and now he's starting to look like a hero. Still underfarmed, considering he's a Maelstrom hero versus a Lifestealer Varmlet. And this is, dude, do you remember when you could actually infest Ancients with level 1 infest as Lifestealer? And like the build was you just rush Radiance, infesting dragons? Those are the days.
Yeah, but Lifestealers had some weird shenanigans. I still miss the support.
I just love Fireball. It's so cool. Like, you just become a dragon, you just cosplay.
I think he actually stole that dragon from the Beastmaster as well. Oh, BG. Buck is dead. Dark Demon jumping in the middle of everything, and he'll just die as well. So nice double kill, but yeah. That was a Ancient Black Dragon that he mini stole, so it had 3k HP.
Ah, that's cool. Also, if I assume you don't get the gold for it, right? Because once you infest, counts as deny. Because like you used to get gold from infesting like jungle creeps as Lifestealer, but you don't anymore. So I'm assuming you don't get the 250 from the Helm of the Overlord, right?
I actually do not have a single clue.
I don't remember how that interaction works right now.
I think you do. Because it does not count. Yeah, it's a weird mechanic. I've also seen some shenanigans with other heroes where like the Chen steals his Helm of the Overload creep, and then you kill off the Chen creep, and then the Beastmaster gets the 250 gold.
Oh.
Yes, is coming in. Mini is not really taking that much damage, but the Spirit Vessel, Dark Demon, the kill comes through. Dream Coil onto Hiko as well. He's gonna get ruptured, and they're finding the Timber Saw. Coritiba just lose a massive double, and the Bloodseeker didn't even get forced to pop the BKB charging forward. They're looking for more, and I mean, net worth wise, they haven't really extended their lead whatsoever, even though it felt like they were in complete control. It's starting to look scary now.
He's being greedy, really. Like the pathing from Mini there, he walked through the towers. He then saw the TPs, just kept going as if he was unkillable. In that other fight where they got a couple of kills, they split their resources way too much trying to fight top and bottom. So I feel like Coritiba, they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves, and
they're pulling the Dreamers.
The Dreamers draft, they're definitely pulling a Dreamers, and the Dreamers draft is much better this game. Like they can win 1 or 2 fights, and then the structures start falling. They can Roche. Lisex, like this hero doesn't need that much farm, and he's still like ahead of the puck. I don't know, man. This, I was very confident on Coritiba once again, but looks like they are not as crisp as maybe I thought.
And also, yeah, in this game, like last game, the CK Juggernaut was the stronger late game hero, obviously. But I think the Bloodseeker is the strongest late game hero in this game, especially considering he's up against 3 strength heroes. He's going Manta right now.
Yeah,
but once he
especially the build Mini went for. I don't think this build has like a lot of DPS. He's going Lincoln's right, went Shard.
No Deso is surprising, especially considering like you want to kill Roche at some point. And he's the only Roche hitter they have. So Deso is kind of a must-have. Also, their tower push is kind of lackluster on Coritiba's side. which also you need a Deso for. This is a very defensive build on the Life Stealer. The Shard's also, like, try and get it free from Roche. It's not really a Shard that you should buy at this stage.
Yeah, and he went sharded, and it's not like they started running at people to use the shard. They played very defensively, so... I mean, I'm just loving what they're doing here. Now, this Kanka has to use X to defend bottom. They already get some tier 3 damage, and with this, this might be a good diversion tactic, because they have vision of Hiko.
Kuka
no!
Spotted. Nice catch coming in. Does he get the bite and BKB off? The ghost ship connects. Kuka throws out the rupture. He's going to get overgrowth. Doesn't have his mantle just yet. And Guts, luckily enough, this time he is in the fight. Last time towards bot, he was not there. MG gets X marked back, but the 4-staff blink to the side. He gets away. Dark Demon is going to get hit by the open wounds, but Dark Demon still's got leaps and will be able to leap to safety. Kuka is dead, and that might open up the possibility to go for Roche, especially now that everything's on cooldown. And oh no, Snapfire Chan will be caught in the process, does not really have a way out, and will be chopped in half by Hiko. He's like, haha, I did a good thing, give me a high five. You guys are like still on the road to kind of lose this game, right? You're just it's not really high five territory yet.
It was really good positioning by Hanses in that fight. He was actually like behind the tree that got cut, and they felt like with that Moonlight Shadow they had the upper hand, but just instant hacks. Even though he eventually got the BKB off, he was really low. You get the blink overgrowth, really good by Serum, allowing them to get the kill. Sure, they killed the Lion, but you're trading a 4 for your carry. The thing is, I see meaning the Roche pit here, and I don't think they can Roche. I think this is going to take way longer than the respawn timers on the side of Dreamers.
Yeah, they're not a good Roche lineup, not in the slightest. It just takes too long. Only Lifestealer can deal damage to Roche, and he's a terrible right clicker against Roche because the feast does not work. I guess the Ghoul Frenzy is at least you know, a nice little addition to taking down Roche, but they don't have like the auras of the Beastmaster. They don't have the massive attack speed. He doesn't actually do that much damage. He has 150 auto attack damage, so it just takes significantly longer.
Yeah, it definitely is a struggle for Coritiba right now, but I mean, I still feel like Dreamers have a decent shot this game. You know, we talked about it, the Beastmaster just having all of that vision, all of the pushing power. It will eventually come a time where their heroes are just superior. The question is whether Coritiba can get away with this Roche. It's pretty slow right now, and I expected maybe the Dreamer, like maybe this is so crazy that Dreamers are not expecting. No, they do get the scan. They're starting to send some bodies there, but this is...
Yeah, Lysix is trying to split push bottom lane, but they're done with Roche before he should be able to do any significant impact. I mean, he gets the Aegis. A little bit of a tickle damage to the bottom tier 3 tower, but yeah, you're playing against a Treant, so that's just going to get healed up. Regardless, like you can't trickle down a building in this game on the side of Dreamers. You need to fully push forward with a multitude of heroes, especially a base tower, if the Treant decides to finally heal it.
I actually love Miji's build here. He's going BKB on Puck. That is so rare, but against Lion might just be what they need. You just brute force the Lion kill every single time. You might force Hanses into like a Aeon Disc or something, but Dark Demon, he gets taken down by Mimi.
Okay, guess. No idea. I guess he got stunned by Hans. Yeah, stunned by Hanses. He blink hacks him, most likely, and then Mini just right clicks away. So net worth wise, they're very close to the other team. Let's see, experience. It is about 6 levels difference, kind of the same problem as they had last game on the side of Dreamers, where they're just experience is where they most of the time tend to be lacking.
Yeah, definitely feels that way, but this time they're also behind in net worth. But I mean, they get items. The Beastmaster finally has a BKB, going for a shard that he actually has money for right now. The Mirana did finish the... I mean, it's very, very close on finishing the Wraith Pact. Once this Aegis wears out, and I don't think Coritiba is really going to get a lot of buildings out of that Aegis. It might be the time for Dreamers to really start forcing fights. I think they're ready.
Bottom tier 3 tower is still not being healed. Not a big fan of that one. The Beast Boss is just going to keep split pushing the entire time. What is Serum healing? Nothing?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger?
Well, there's a lot of diseases that, you know, they don't kill you, but they make you weak enough where you still die in the end to other diseases.
Well, he does start healing, so he heard you. He heard you. And time for a smoke here. Very long lines. The path that they actually, like, they're both smoking at the same exact time. Let's see who gets the upper hand.
Well, Dark Demon, he's again going for that the Wraith Pact, which I guess it's a really good item this game because there's not like a hero that can easily kill it. And it's also nice against like the Kunkka Ghost Ship Wombo combo or the Lion Finger if you get it off in time. In this game, it definitely is more of a sustainy kind of engagement that they're going to go for on the Dreamer side, with the Puck being able to jump all across the fight. Bloodseeker, especially, like, he loves lengthy engagements so that he can eventually just chop people down, heal back to full, and continue his chop fest.
Looks like Curitiba's gonna group up middle here. I would love to see them trading towers. I think that's the best that Dreamers can do right now. They do glyph middle. Is Curitiba gonna try and defend this tower? It's actually pretty valuable, even though it might not look this way. They're setting up top though. Can they find Dark Demon again? What?
It's actually going to be kind of funny, because in this series, like, this is really passive Dota. Both games. Very passive Dota for a very long amount of time. Next game is Ravens versus Mad Kings. Those guys are nuts. Especially Mad Kings. Like, they're just going to go from the first second. And they're completely different playstyle than both these teams.
Don't say it, dude. You don't want to say it.
No.
You know?
They're
Just
never
wish
going to
for
stop
it.
going. Ooh, Lissex does have Aurora available. Basher finished up onto Mini. Force it. I mean, I don't really think that he needed to pop the PKB there, but okay, he gets away.
Yeah, didn't have vision. Better safe than sorry. If he dies there, maybe they'll lose tier 2. So always good to
Not lose tier 2.
Yeah, that's always a good plan. But they might lose it anyways because there's a tier 2 tower. Sorry, a catapult here in this tier 2 tower. Yeah, maybe we'll just give it up, honestly. The Aegis is about to expire anyways. They're gonna fight.
Yeah, they're waiting for that Aegis to expire. Maybe they can get a nice catch. Mini is hiding a little bit in the trees. They don't actually have a high ground ward, which is a bit problematic. The Hawk gives the vision they need. Rupture onto Hiko. Pops the BKB. Is going to get stunned up regardless. Kuka's going in with the right clicks. He's got the shard. He does a lot of damage. The Infest Bomb is a bit painful. Kuka used his Manta already. Does not have a way out of the overgrowth. And Kuka is almost dead. Yes, the whip from Guts does finish him off in the end, and they need to fall back quickly. Nice Infest Bomb coming in from the Life Sealer as well. That was the health that the Timbersaw needed to survive. And he also finds our little Snapfire Chan in the process. Stop high-fiving everyone, Hiko.
I don't know, man. I feel like Kuka Hook. In this game, he was definitely not set up for success, so I don't really want to harp too much on him. But both games felt like he farmed and barely did much. So kind of unfortunate because they were starting to recover, but they're also playing really well around him. It feels like he's always the first one initiating because this Puck is really afraid. He's going for that BKB, so he doesn't want to show up because he's afraid of the Lion. And that just means they control this Bloodseeker totally. They have a lot of BKB piercing control, and the Bloodseeker just dies.
I think Serum specifically is doing a superb job every single time he sees the BKB. And this time, Bloodseeker uses Manta before the Overgrowth, and that is like that's the only reason you buy a Manta this game on the Bloodseeker is you pop BKB, he Overgrowth, you pop your Manta. That's literally the only reason you buy it. There's no other reason to go for it.
I totally agree. That's okay. Puck going in, gets the silence on the Lion.
Two coil catches, arrow flies through, but the heal bomb mini gets Hans' back to full instantaneously. The rupture onto Eco. We will find Shan on the side. He will be blown to smithereens, and they're just going to back off on Dreamers, or are they? The puck, Miji is actually going a little bit onto Hans's, and Miji, Marana Invis keeps him going. The arrow lands onto Hiko. They're continuing the fray. Kuka does still want to get a backline jump. Uses the Manta style there, but there's again an Overgrowth available, and he needs to be very careful if he wants to re-engage without the Manta charge.
Dude, that fast literally healed the Lion from like 100 HP to 100% HP.
Yeah, why the hell is it that much?
Yeah, like it's 1200 and he has 1300 HP. So the Lion just, it's different like from other HP increases. Like it literally increases, like it just heals you 100%. It's crazy strong, that Infest, which is why you don't see those Infest bombs anymore, because Lifestealer just feels way more impactful when you can either save someone or make sure you get 2 rages in a fight. Like you can rage, attack, join someone, so you buy time for the cooldown and then you attack again. It felt really impactful there. It definitely felt like they could kill the Lion, but because this puck is going for the BKB... Oh, by the way, he actually changed his mind, goes for Aderlands. You know, if he had more damage items, maybe that was a Lion kill, but I don't know. They're way far behind now. 11k for Coritiba.
It is still doable, but they need to... They need Puck not to die there. And that makes it slightly more problematic. Also, yeah, they need the Skadi on Kuka. Like, if he didn't have the Manta, he'd have the Skadi by now. And that's like it. That's the power of this Treant Protector. Because the Skadi... You need that healing reduction, you need a possible Shiva's Guard, and against a Lifestealer specifically, like, your Spirit Vessel does nothing, because he's just gonna rage off the charges.
This buyback is so late, they already got the barracks. This just feels like I don't know, this just feels like a super tilted buyback. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe if your team was already like engaged in the fight, you could buy back and get a quick Dream Coil on the back line. But once your racks are already exposed and half HP, buying back is just a waste.
Like, sure, there might be Roche, but you actually have a Hawk giving vision. So you don't even have that excuse of like, oh, maybe they'll get Roche if I don't buy back instantly. So... rough one. Coritiba feels like even, you know, it kind of felt like we might get a repeat story, but backwards, with Coritiba just, you know, destroying the lanes. But they're feeling way more stable than Dreamers was in both games.
They're just waiting for Rose to respawn. That should be an Aegis plus shard for the Radiant side. Marana is used. They're walking underneath ward vision though, or at least sentry ward vision, but Guts, he pops the BKB, so the Roar just holds him in place for a couple seconds longer. Won't have a BKB continuing for the forward, but there's also no Roar, there's also no kisses to come in. Hans is, like, that's the one you kind of want to... You need to one-shot those supports at the start of the fight. This X is trying to get to them, but forced to BKB, needs to disengage, and they just kind of need to run at this stage. Because these supports are the ones that are doing all the control in these fights. All of it. They will go for Hans, but he gets healed back again to full HP again. This time he does eventually fall. Kuka's charging forward, but Mini bashes him up. Kuka's in a world of hurt. Does need to be careful of that Manta usage, obviously, but the Lion bought back, and Kuka has his BKB now on cooldown. So they can't realistically continue a fight on the side of Dreamers, and that means Roche should go in favor of Coritiba.
Even have a beautiful double damage, just waiting for them. If you know, they want to be cute about it, they can even save it there after Roche, so they can go high ground. But looks like Mini will just pick it up.
What's there to do? Coritiba is just, they're playing out the game. That's pretty much it. They're playing it out. They're not getting over aggressive. They're playing very defensively. You know, in some situations, teams tend to go over defensively, which almost went wrong for them this game. But in the end, you know, the Gorillas Pride series, that was just a one-off, and for the most part, they've just been the strongest team in Division 2.
Yeah, I want to say that I know, you know, you're not gonna like it because I'm going to talk shit about this Mirana. But to me, like, the problem with this game is that the Bloodseeker has to be the first point of contact. I mean, speaking of him, he might just die here. He doesn't have Manta. His BKB is on cooldown. Oh no, he's dead.
Yep. And Serum playing that scouting ward.
But as I was saying, like, if they had a clock, if they had an Earth Spirit, a hero that could go in first, I think it would allow this puck, like, someone that gets vision first, it would allow the puck to be able to initiate. But because it's the Bloodseeker, he's just burning this, like, Manta and BKB for supports. And I think they're burning way too many resources just to get vision. The Beastmaster, like, he's strong as well, but a lot of the roars he got were in targets that he had vision of him, so they pop BKB. They never really get the arrow connection after the roar.
They got Lincoln Spheres, they got 2 Lincoln Spheres to work with, making it significantly harder to really do anything. Buyback from Kuka, they're going for a fight, I guess.
Are they?
Maybe tomorrow they'll consider Lisek jumps on the back line. He has a roar, throws it out onto Guts, and he's just gonna get Rampage out of existence. It seems Guts takes some damage. He does have a Satanic, so if you find someone to right click, he heals up, and there's again that infest heal. Kuka taking too much damage from minion in return. Dieback comes through, and that is going to be game, set, match. Nothing that they can realistically do. Double kill on the side of Dreamers. You know, it is the deciding game to see who's going to be the first team to qualify for Division 1, and it is going to be Coritiba, for the most part, ex-Apple King of Kings, but they are going back to Division 1 at the very least, and, you know, it is one of the teams that where you expected it at the start of the season, that they'd be at the top, and they do manage to get that position.
For sure. You know, they felt kind of shaky, you know, with the transitions and all at the beginning. But Mini delivering a lot. I think these guys, like, they know each other. So I think a lot of, like, the knowledge that some of these stacks, they take a while to acquire. Coritiba, they already have it. And they quickly adapted. I thought it was going to be much harder because, you know, mid and carry are very different positions. But Mini delivering quite a bit. I think Guts looking very stable with that draft as well. Some people were inquiring, you know, whether they would have some language problems and all, but they're also kind of used to playing with Peruvian players they had a while ago. I'm not even sure if they were Apple Kings at the time. They had, damn, what's the name of the old offlaner? Valky, right? So, and even Benny to some degree. So these guys, they are versed playing with Peruvians. They come back to Division 1 deservingly. Very happy for them. They know they've been grinding quite a bit. It's also probably kind of demoralizing for them coming from, like, 3rd place through 1 to going back to Division 2 tour 2. But they, you know, grabbed the pieces. They were humble and they climbed back. Pretty happy for them.
Yeah, they definitely did bounce back. I am actually really enjoying Mini as safe laner. You know, the biggest problem, of course, with making that swap is what's going to be his hero pool. I guess if you make the swap from, like, a safe laner to mid laner, it's a lot tougher for the most part. Because those heroes a lot of those are, like, super heavy skill dependent. Whereas, you know, Lifestealer, Bloodseeker, Juggernaut, they're still heroes that are, you know, some of them are hard to play and you need to be really, like, angled in trying to focus on farming. But for the most part, most of those heroes, they're fairly easy comparably to, let's say, you know, the mid Ember Spirit, whatnot, and the how fast you need to respond with, like, Void Spirit and whatnot. So I guess that is one big plus on their side. I do want to see his hero pool grow to also have a little bit, of a little bit of the cheese. I know that, of course, obviously he plays the TA from the mid lane that he knows, and the Kunkka safe lane, that sort of thing. But you need to have a pretty diverse hero pool eventually, especially once you're going back to Division 1. And I do hope that this team sticks together in next season. Of course, you still have the TI qualifiers. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they would at least make it towards the wildcard invites. Top 3 at the TI qualifiers, because this team is definitely very scary, even for the Division 1 teams to deal with.
Yeah, they're definitely growing quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave everyone in Division 1 a run for their money moving forward. We could even have, I guess now it's very unlikely for Infamous to really get to the majors, so we're only going to have 2 decisively invited teams, which means we have 2 extra teams to compete for the mini TI, with Coritiba definitely being a good contender towards that. But now we have to find out who is the second team to climb from Division 2 to Division 1. It might involve tiebreakers, but Mad Kings versus Ravens is really going to decide all of that moving forward, right?
Yep, definitely looking absolutely interesting. By the way, you did talk about, of course, Infamous maybe not making, but Infamous still have a chance because Beast Coast and Thunder Weekend have to play against each other on the last game. So, that is actually, like, in Division 1, there's also a lot of fun coming in. They have to beat Hokori first, but there's definitely, if they beat Hokori, which I think is that match today. No, today is SG versus Wolf Team. Yeah, I think that match is then tomorrow or Saturday, but that means that, if they win against Hokori, then they will at least play tiebreakers or guaranteed tiebreakers. So, but that's Division 1. Now we're back to Division 2. And you mentioned it, Ravens versus Mad Kings. I must say, and of course, it's not very nice to admit it, but the series that we just casted was kind of a snooze fest. It was very slow, very passive from both sides. That's kind of also how they've been playing for the most of this season, to be fair. But the next series, however, has, I think, the most aggressive team in Division 2 this season, and that's the Mad Kings, and I hope they don't disappoint.
Yeah, I don't think they will. They definitely want to make this interesting because at the end of the day, if they do win that, we're going to see a 3-team tiebreaker towards that second spot. And if Ravens wins, they will be the second team to solidify their position towards Division 1. So either way, it's going to be really hype. I would love to have some tiebreakers, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're going towards a short little break. Ladies and gents, we'll be right back. I'm saying right back. We'll be back in give or take 37 minutes, -5, 32 minutes for the pre-game. So don't forget to check us out. Epulze Gaming is the channel. Don't forget to follow D2 Bowie on Twitter as well. And while you're at it, you might as well follow DKTruman TV on Twitter for some more Dota shenanigans. We'll be back for the first game of Ravens versus Mad Kings after the break. We'll see you then.
Whoop, whoop.